Hi there, welcome back to my channel. Casey here. Today's video, I want to talk about goals. Full disclaimer, I have never been much of a goal setter. I am just a doer. I don't know if that makes sense, but if I set my mind to something, I just do it. I've never really, to a fault, established like smaller steps to get there. I just do. So, I'm trying something new. I am trying to be more intentional with my time and the things that we're doing in our homeschool and my aspirations for creating certain memories and atmosphere, things like that this year. So I sat down and prayed and wrote out some things for me to focus on or to keep in front of me as I'm doing my weekly planning and monthly planning, kind of keeping these things in front of me so that I don't forget about them. So with that being said, we are ending our first almost month of school. So we started early August with bringing in our curriculum and individual subjects, things like that. Our first week, which if you saw, we have like a first day of school video, day in the life kind of thing, went famously. Like just a wonderful, beautiful, fun back to school week. And then that first week, I ended up getting a call and getting our youngest son in for swim lessons over the next 2 weeks in the mornings. And then we had family come and visit us for an extended weekend. And we had another friend who needed some help watching the kids, and just all like life happened. And if you're a homeschooler already, you get it. But anyways, so our first full week of school went beautifully. And then the next 3 weeks were just hit and miss with the new routine and doing school some days and not others. And it just was crazy. Part of that is my fault because starting school early, you're still trying to enjoy the summer and do things. And so, having expectations that you're just going to fly right into the routine and stay consistent was a little, I can laugh at it. But it's not all for loss because we've just been enjoying the last bit of the pool being open, and we've had some beautiful summer weather. I mean, it hasn't been like gross hot every day. We've had some cool days, some rainy days, etc. But anyways, so here I am today to kind of recap that, and that even when we set goals, they don't always play out exactly like you think. You just be flexible and start again. And so I'm going to share my goals. I'm going to try breaking it into like quarters. So, we started school in August, but we're going to reboot and try again starting in September after Labor Day. We are going to start back into our groove of homeschooling. And I have put in my calendar, my Google Calendar, no daytime activities for the whole month of September. Like just say no to everything for the daytime. Not saying that we aren't going to fall soccer starting, and the boys really wanted to do that, so we're going to try that. Anyways, I'm rambling, but here are my quarter one goals. So I've broken this into kind of categories. First one being homeschool related goals. And then I also thought I'd try setting some goals for myself to be more intentional with my time. To keep it manageable and not overwhelm myself with this whole new goal setting thing for me. I have 3 things to focus on for our first quarter, which will be September through November. So right before we start the holidays. Hold on. All right. So I have broken these goals into kind of categories. I have homeschool goals. Then I wrote down for myself personal goals, spiritual growth goals, and then relational goals. And so first and foremost, homeschool. I have 3 things that I want to focus on in our first quarter, which will be September through November now. Goal number 1 is our family worship. Our summer was very exciting. Our middle son professed his faith in Jesus Christ. And so we've been discipling him in what it means, to walk in that new faith. And then our oldest son still. And then, of course, our youngest. So one of our big reasons why we homeschool is because of our faith. But I wanted to be very sorry, I keep looking over here because this is where my goals are. But so just kind of streamlining our family worship and how we read the Bible together. I've tried, we've done like some devotional type studies. We've done, just various different things. And I just want to dial it down and keep it simple. So what that's going to look like is we will start our mornings with a call to worship, basically. We're going back to learning our hymns. And so we'll sing a hymn that we know and then introduce new hymns. And then just reading the Bible together and narration. That's kind of a Charlotte Mason approach where you would go through like a book of the Bible or maybe a couple and then just read and then have the kids narrate back to you what they heard, what you read, and tell it back in their own words. So that's what we have started doing. So we are focusing on the Gospels for this homeschool year and starting with the book of Matthew and just reading a chapter a day and then having the kids tell it back to me in their own words, starting with our youngest, so let him talk first and then the next child and then finish with our oldest, and he can kind of fill in any gaps or add any insight that he might have as well. That's been going really well. They ask great questions, and I love hearing them tell me the story in their own words also. And then the next goal that I had written down was a strong start, which is kind of laughable because of the first part of the video, how I said, August was not it was a very strong start the first week, and then the last 3 weeks have been life. So we're gonna restart that in September, and I did. So I'm not disappointed that August was crazy because it taught me what our plans were, or my plans for our daily routine, our daily flow. Even the first week, we started out with doing our family subjects first and then going into individual subjects. And I was seeing very quickly that the younger two didn't have the mental stamina to stay engaged and come back to their focused work after we did family subjects. And so I flopped our day. And so we will do our family worship and then go into individual subjects and finish the morning out with that, have lunch, and then after lunch we will do either our science or our history alternating days, with Friday being our catch-up day or read aloud day. So we will pick all this back up after Labor Day with getting back into that routine. And I had August to kind of make some tweaks and assessments of what was working and what wasn't. And so flipping that and doing individual subjects in the morning with family subjects in the afternoon was working quite beautifully. And I look forward to getting back into that. And then my third focus for this first quarter was reading. Our oldest two are great readers. They have become quite fluent in it, and our oldest was taking his time to get to that point of enjoying reading. It's been kind of that struggle of you need to go read or let's read together. He's a great reader, just wasn't enjoyable to him yet. And over the summer, with some of the books that he's checked out from the library, he's found when it's a good book, he really does enjoy the reading. And so watching that blossom in him has been a lot of fun. And then, of course, our middle son with his reading, he's doing so great. And then this year, our youngest will be reading, and I'm just so excited to watch all of the connecting the dots of the letter sounds and building words and being able to read. Like, it's just so exciting to learn to read on your own. But with that also, like, just reading as a family, reading aloud together at night, listening to audiobooks, doing picture books for our science and history, just constantly reading. That's my goal, constantly reading. I've always felt like you can go on any adventure that you could possibly think of with a good book. And so teaching that and building that in our kids is a goal of mine. So then, personal goals. Something that I have been working to rebuild since having two kids close together in age, which, you know, they're considerably older now, but it's just for whatever reason, it's taken me a long time to get back into my early morning routines of getting up consistently and enjoying those morning hours before my day starts. But with that, a successful morning routine starts the night before. And so my personal goal this quarter has been and is continuing to be that my top priority things before I go to bed at night so that I can have a successful morning time. And so for me, that looks like going to bed with a clean kitchen, not leaving dishes in the sink or stuff on the counters, but I love waking up to a clean kitchen. And so that has been my first top priority, if you will. And then also setting out the things that we will need for our lessons the night before. So getting the kids' binders all primed and ready for the next day, which I'll have another video about those. And then if we're doing a science lab, what materials am I going to need? If we're doing a history project, what materials am I going to need? Having all of that lined out the night before so that I can wake up in the morning, enjoy coffee and reading my Bible with my husband as he's doing his morning routine, and then getting into fixing breakfast for everyone and not feeling like, I've got to clean the kitchen first or whatever. But just being able to roll right into those sweet morning hours. So that's my personal goal. Then my spiritual goal, I've been doing a lot of Bible app reading plans with our young adult ministry, but then also I've been doing the Bible recap with Tara Lee Cobble and that reading plan and the accompanying podcast, which is amazing and I highly recommend it. But I also thrive in a book of the Bible study type situation where you just immerse yourself in a book and study it and read it and reread it and just really get as much out of it as you possibly can. And so my quarter one goal for that, since I'm not currently leading any Bible studies, is to myself go through the book of Galatians. And so I did start a reading plan with our young adult ministry in Galatians, just kind of like an overview sort of thing. For me, it'll be kind of my warm-up, if you will. But then I want to get more in depth with it and really study that book of the Bible for this first quarter. And then continuing to grow in my personal prayer life and consistency with quiet prayer and then, prayer, consistency in prayer. I pray all the time, but that like devoted, quiet time where you just sit and pray is something that I am trying to cultivate and develop more consistently. My brain competes with that time full out. And so I've learned, like, if I'm going to do that, I can't try to pray in my head. Like, I have to move and pray out loud in order for that time to be productive. Otherwise, my thoughts wander, or I get tired or distracted. And so building that consistent prayer time like that is one of my spiritual goals. And my last goal topic is relational. This one I think will probably be the biggest challenge for me because of just, I don't know, life, I guess, but all the more reason for me to try to be more intentional about it. And that is really carving out and making a point for one-on-one time with each of our boys. I'm not sure yet, like I need to fine tune this goal just a little bit more on, am I going to try to do like a one-on-one date with each of them, like one each month? Or is it going to be like, I don't know, a weekly thing with a pocket of time with each of them through the week? That is something that I think I'm going to have to play with, quite honestly, and see how it goes. On how big scale or small scale, or possibly both. That may be a monthly date with each kid, and then a weekly little window with each of them. But just one-on-one time, ideally no interruptions, just to make them special. Might be come do a grocery run with mom and we'll get a treat or something like that. I'm not sure yet, but it is a goal. And then also the same with my darling husband. We don't go out on dates like hardly ever. And I'm not bummed about that. Neither is he. It's a lot to coordinate with, childcare, somebody to watch the kids. Our oldest is at an age and their relationship is pretty good that, if we did something here in town, I think, start small with like a coffee date, and let them stay home and he can watch his younger brothers. Then we're just like 5 minutes away if things get crazy. But my husband and I have always been really good at being completely content and loving, putting a movie on for the kids and we go and enjoy the porch for a couple hours and just visiting and spending time together. One of our favorite dates is getting a container of Talenti gelato, which is like really expensive, delicious, amazing, decadent ice cream, and getting a movie, and we share that ice cream in bed with a movie and enjoy just sharing space together and relaxing and whatnot. But since I don't really eat ice cream anymore, maybe he can have the Talenti to himself and I'll have something different. But anyways, just maybe like a real date, like a whole day together this quarter is my goal. Whether that be kids spend an overnight with friends and we just have a staycation kind of date thing, or maybe try to go somewhere and overnight together. Not sure yet, but those are my goals. So we'll see at the end of November how I do for being somebody who's never really been a goal setter to having all these goals. I'm optimistic and hopeful and excited to have some intentionality to these things. And yeah, wish me the best, because I really do want to be successful in this. I think that it will be a blessing to have some intentionality. Again, like, not saying that I'm not a purposeful person. I'm just a doer. Like, I would just get an idea of, I want to go on a date with my husband, and then I would just do it. And that's why partly maybe why we don't go out on dates very often. We just kind of roll with it. So anyways, are you a goal setter? Have you always been a goal setter? Got any tips for me to be successful? leave me a comment below. I would love to hear them. And yeah, stay tuned for the results in a few months. Thanks for stopping by. We would love to have you like and subscribe and help our channel grow. And then we'll see you in the next video.